Once upon a time, in the serene lands of ancient India, there lived a young man named Siddhartha. He was born into royalty, destined for a life of luxury and power. However, despite his privileged upbringing, Siddhartha found himself grappling with a profound sense of discontentment and inner turmoil. One day, amidst the opulence of his palace, Siddhartha embarked on a journey of self-discovery. He renounced his princely status and set out into the world in search of enlightenment. For years he wandered the countryside, seeking wisdom from sages and scholars, yet his heart remained heavy with unresolved emotions, particularly anger. It wasn't until Siddhartha encountered a group of Buddhist monks that he began to find solace for his restless soul. Under their guidance, he delved deep into the teachings of Buddhism, which offered profound insights into the nature of human suffering and the path to liberation. Central to Buddhist philosophy was the recognition of anger as a destructive force that poisons the mind and distorts one's perception of reality. The monks taught Siddhartha that while it's natural to experience anger, it is within one's power to transcend it through mindfulness and compassion. Through meditation and introspection, Siddhartha learned to observe his anger without being consumed by it. He discovered that beneath the surface of his rage lay a wellspring of hurt and insecurity, longing to be acknowledged and healed. With each passing day, Siddhartha's heart grew lighter as he cultivated a sense of inner peace and equanimity. He realized that true strength lay not in the suppression of emotions, but in their transformation into sources of wisdom and compassion. Armed with this newfound understanding, Siddhartha, now known as the Buddha, dedicated his life to teaching others the path to liberation from suffering. He traveled far and wide, sharing his timeless teachings with all who were willing to listen. One day, a troubled soul approached the Buddha, consumed by rage and despair. The Buddha listened with compassion as the individual poured out their grievances. With gentle wisdom, he offered them a simple yet profound prescription. "Take this previous medicine," the Buddha said, gesturing towards the teachings of Buddhism on anger. "Cultivate mindfulness and compassion in your heart, and you'll find that anger no longer has a hold over you." Intrigued by the Buddha's words, the troubled soul began to earnestly practice the principles of Buddhism. Through diligent meditation and self-reflection, they gradually loosened the grip of anger on their mind, replacing it with a sense of inner peace and contentment. As time passed, the once angry individual underwent a remarkable transformation. They no longer reacted impulsively to provocation but responded with patience and understanding. Their relationships flourished, and their mind became a sanctuary of serenity and joy. In the end, the individual realized that the true miracle lay not in the eradication of anger, but in its transformation into love and compassion. Inspired by their journey of healing, they dedicated themselves to spreading the teachings of Buddhism far and wide, offering hope and solace to all who suffered. And so, the timeless wisdom of Buddhism continues to illuminate the path toward freedom from anger, reminding us that within the depths of our hearts lies the power to transform suffering into profound peace and liberation. In the vast teachings of Buddhism, the recognition of anger as a potent poison is paramount. Unlike other emotions, anger is seen as particularly harmful, not just because of its outward expression, but because of its insidious impact on the individual experiencing it. Buddhism emphasizes that anger isn't merely a fleeting emotion, but a deep-seated affliction that distorts our perception of reality and inflicts suffering upon ourselves and those around us. At its core, Buddhism teaches that anger arises from a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of reality. When we become angry, we perceive a situation or person as inherently negative or threatening, triggering a cascade of negative thoughts and emotions. This distorted perception clouds our judgment, leading us to react impulsively and harmfully, often escalating conflicts and perpetuating cycles of suffering. Moreover, Buddhism emphasizes that anger not only harms others but also erodes our well-being. When consumed by anger, we experience physical and psychological distress, including elevated heart rate, increased blood pressure, and heightened levels of stress hormones. Over time, chronic anger can lead to a host of health issues, from cardiovascular problems to compromised immune function. Furthermore, anger undermines our ability to cultivate inner peace and happiness. By fixating on grievances, we perpetuate a cycle of negativity that prevents us from experiencing genuine joy and contentment. Instead of fostering meaningful connections with others, anger breeds resentment and isolation, erecting barriers to authentic communication and understanding. In recognizing anger as a poison, Buddhism offers a profound invitation to cultivate mindfulness and compassion as antidotes. By developing awareness of our anger and its underlying causes, we can begin to unravel its grip on our minds and hearts. Through practices such as meditation and introspection, we learn to respond to challenging situations with equanimity and wisdom, rather than succumbing to reactive patterns of behavior. Mindfulness, a central practice in Buddhism, holds remarkable power in transforming our relationship with anger. At its essence, mindfulness involves cultivating present moment awareness without judgment, allowing us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations with clarity and compassion. In the context of anger, mindfulness serves as a potent tool for disengaging from reactive patterns of behavior and cultivating inner peace and equanimity. One of the key insights of mindfulness is the recognition that anger is not a fixed or inherent trait but a passing mental state that arises and ceases in response to specific conditions. By training our attention through practices such as meditation and mindful breathing, we develop the capacity to observe the arising of anger without becoming entangled in its grip. Instead of reflexively reacting to anger with aversion or aggression, we can choose to respond with greater awareness and discernment. Buddhist practices offer various techniques to cultivate mindfulness and diffuse anger in the heat of the moment. For example, when we notice anger arising, we can bring our attention to the sensations in our body, observing the physical manifestations of anger. Mindfulness, a central practice in Buddhism, holds remarkable power in transforming our relationship with anger. At its essence, mindfulness involves cultivating present moment awareness without judgment, allowing us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations with clarity and compassion. In the context of anger, mindfulness serves as a potent tool for disengaging from reactive patterns of behavior and cultivating inner peace and equanimity. One of the key insights of mindfulness is the recognition that anger is not a fixed or inherent trait, but a passing mental state that arises and ceases in response to specific conditions. By training our attention through practices such as meditation and mindful breathing, we develop the capacity to observe the arising of anger without becoming entangled in its grip. Instead of reflexively reacting to anger with aversion or aggression, we can choose to respond with greater awareness and discernment. Buddhist practices offer various techniques to cultivate mindfulness and diffuse anger in the heat of the moment. For example, when we notice anger arising, we can bring our attention to the sensations in our body, observing the physical manifestations of anger without judgment. By grounding ourselves in the present moment, we create space for wise discernment and skillful action, rather than succumbing to impulsive reactions driven by anger. Moreover, mindfulness empowers us to investigate the underlying causes of our anger with curiosity and compassion. Through introspection and self-inquiry, we can uncover the deep-seated beliefs, fears, and insecurities that fuel our anger, allowing us to address them with wisdom and insight. By shining the light of awareness on our emotional landscape, we can gradually untangle the roots of anger and cultivate greater emotional resilience and well-being. Furthermore, mindfulness fosters a sense of spaciousness and perspective that enables us to respond to challenging situations with greater empathy and understanding. By recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings and the impermanent nature of emotions, we can cultivate compassion for ourselves and others. Rather than perpetuating cycles of reactivity and aggression, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and harmony that radiates outward, transforming our relationships and communities. In essence, the power of mindfulness lies in its ability to free us from the grip of anger and cultivate a life of greater peace, clarity, and compassion. By cultivating present moment awareness and compassionate understanding, we can transcend the limitations of anger and awaken to the boundless potential for growth and transformation within ourselves and the world around us. Certainly, here are some practical techniques inspired by Buddhist teachings to help manage and diffuse anger in daily life. 1. Mindful breathing. Take a few moments to focus on your breath. Pay attention to the sensations of each inhale and exhale, allowing your breath to anchor you in the present moment. As you breathe, observe any tension or discomfort in your body associated with anger, and imagine releasing it with each breath. 2. Meditation. Set aside time each day for meditation practice. Sit comfortably and focus your attention on your breath, a mantra, or a visual object. When thoughts or emotions arise, simply observe them without judgment and gently return your focus to your chosen anchor. Meditation helps cultivate inner calm and clarity, reducing the likelihood of reactive anger. 3. Mindful awareness. Throughout the day, cultivate mindful awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations. Notice any signs of anger arising, such as tension in the jaw or a racing heart. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause and observe your experience with curiosity and compassion. By developing mindful awareness, you can interrupt the cycle of anger before it escalates. 4. Loving kindness practice. Engage in loving kindness meditation to cultivate compassion for yourself and others. Begin by directing loving kindness towards yourself, silently repeating phrases such as "May I be happy," "May I be peaceful." Then extend this benevolent intention to others, including those who may have triggered your anger. Cultivating loving kindness helps soften the heart and foster empathy, reducing the intensity of anger. 5. Reflective writing. Keep a journal to explore the underlying causes of your anger and identify patterns of thinking and behavior that contribute to it. Write freely about your experiences, emotions, and reactions, allowing yourself to express and process your feelings without judgment. Reflective writing can help gain insight into the root causes of anger and develop strategies for managing it effectively. 6. Mindful communication. Practice mindful communication by speaking and listening with presence and empathy. Before responding to a triggering situation, take a moment to pause and consider your words carefully. Speak honestly and assertively, expressing your needs and concerns without resorting to aggression or blame. Likewise, listen attentively to the perspectives of others, seeking to understand their experiences with an open heart. By incorporating these practical techniques into your daily life, inspired by Buddhist teachings, you can cultivate greater awareness, compassion, and resilience in managing and diffusing anger. Remember that anger is a natural human emotion, but with mindfulness and practice, you can learn to respond to it skillfully and cultivate inner peace and harmony.